Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you all? Hope all of you are doing good. May God bless you. Stay home, stay healthy, stay safe, as I am saying every time. Okay? Keep your textbook and notebook with you. Let's begin our topic. Today our topic is infectious disease part 1. In the current scenario, this topic is relevant. So please listen carefully. Good luck. So first all of us we have to know what is the definition for disease, what is a pathogen. All of you heard about disease. Nowadays everyone know about this condition. Coronavirus, COVID, isn't it? So what is a disease? It is a condition in a human being or any animal. What they will do? Which reduces the effectiveness of the function of an organism. That means from the normal condition, everything is going to a abnormal condition or unhealthy condition. It makes a person ill health. Okay, so disease is a condition in which the normal functioning change into a unhealthy illness condition. And what is meant by a pathogen? Pathogen means any foreign organism or any organism that causes a disease in a person. So a pathogen may be protist or fungus or bacteria or virus, anything, okay, that make the unhealthy condition in a human being or any animal. And the pathogen is also known as antigen because it is a foreign particle and it has its own structure and protein. So we are calling it as a antigen also. And there are different kinds of diseases. Infectious diseases and non-infectious diseases. Infectious diseases we can call another name also contagious or communicable disease. From the word itself you can understand communicable disease means what? A disease that can be transmitted from one person to another. For example, TB, cholera, AIDS. These 3 case studies we have to do. That's why I included this one. You will get more example. The present condition COVID-19 you can write. Okay, why? Because it is transmitting from one person to another. So what is non-infectious or non-communicable disease? That disease causes a pathogen but including some genetic disorders. That means sickle cell anemia, cancer. These all are genetical disorders, and sometimes a small kind of that means a headache, it come to me, but it cannot transmit from one person to another. Understand? So infectious disease and non-infectious disease difference you have. Now we have to know about infectious disease in detail. Okay, so there are some terms regarding the infectious disease. One of them is endemic. Endemic means what? A pathogen causes some infectious disease, but it exists only in a particular region or a population, but it exists permanently, that will stay for a long time. Okay, it means it has a constant presence. So example, malaria. In globally there are some regions like South Africa and Korea, something like that. There this malaria still is present, but it is endemic to that, it is localized to a particular region. But at the same time there is another terminology, epidemic. Okay, epidemic means disease that appears suddenly and then spread rapidly in a specific area or in a particular population. Now in this scenario you can know the COVID, before it was declared as only epidemic because we thought it is only in China, but after China it globally transmitted. So from epidemic status to another status is declared by WHO. What is WHO? World Health Organization. Okay, that we will explain in the next slides. So example is a food poisoning. That food poisoning may be done by a special area, those who share the special kind of food, and after that it may go or may not go, that we don't know, but it is spread rapidly, one after another, within no time it spreads. Okay, so that case is known as epidemic. So you have learned two terms here: endemic, example malaria; epidemic, example food poisoning. You have to write these terms and examples in your. So another terminology is pandemic disease. So pandemic disease means it's a kind of epidemic. That means it spreads vigorously or spontaneously from one place to another. Okay, that spread far more widely. That means globally it spread. Nowadays, you know, COVID just started in China, but after that it is transferred from one place to another within no time. So WHO declared it as a pandemic disease. Okay, so the whole continent or through the whole world is affected. Such kind of infections are known as pandemic disease. It affects a huge number of people, many countries, or the whole country, or whole continent, or whole world. Okay, so example is corona or COVID-19. So in this case you can see a lot of disease, okay, infectious disease and non-infectious disease. It is actually a comparison chart between these two types of condition. Okay, in infectious disease, bacterial disease are there, viral disease are there, fungal disease are there, protestant disease are there. Okay, all this classification we have learned in grade 9. These all are animal classification: bacteria, virus, fungus, protista, prions and all. But this virus is not a non-living organism. It is a link between non-living and living. That's why still we are struggling with the COVID-19. We could not identify, in order to cure or find anything about a pathogen and to cure from that disease, first we have to know about the pathogen clearly. But in COVID-19 still we couldn't find the complete life cycle of the virus. That all details we will see in the next classes. Okay, so non-infectious disease not caught from other organism, but it is unhealthy lifestyle or unfavorable environmental condition, like the person who are eating a lot but they are not doing any work. So obesity will make the sugar, cholesterol, pressure. All these are not by pathogenic effect. This is because of our lifestyle. They are known as lifestyle diseases. Actually, cardiovascular disease, malnutrition. Malnutrition means deficiency or additive also. Genetic diseases, that we cannot do anything. It is a default setting of a humankind. In the genes, it is the problem. And respiratory diseases, cancer, allergies and autoimmune disease, all will come under the non-infectious disease. Okay, you just go through this slide and you have to know what are the terms and what are the examples for each category, and you write down in your notebook. Okay, so now we have some case studies: AIDS or HIV. Hope all of you know about this one. Okay, and cholera and tuberculosis. So first we are going to deal with the AIDS or HIV. What is AIDS? Autoimmune deficiency syndrome, or the virus which causes this one is HIV, human immunovirus. Before we have to study that AIDS, we have to know about how the immune system works in human body. Okay, so when any pathogen come into our body, what will do? Our body has a special defense system to attack any foreign particle come into our body. That is known as immune system. So that immune system actually make what they are making, detect that this virus can come to our body, so I have to work against it. So some macrophages cell, that means it is a kind of WBC, okay, that alert the T cells. T cell also is a WBC. WBC means what? The main function is immunity, isn't it? So that helper T cells or T cells will activate the other WBCs, and all together they make antibodies against this antigen. Antigen means any foreign body. Antibody means any protection from our own body to act against a antigen. That is known as antibody. Okay. So there will be a fight occur between antigen and antibody. Who is helping for that? WBC. Okay. So this is the normal condition inside a body when any pathogen come in. All of you know what is HIV. That means human immunovirus. That is the virus which causes AIDS in human being. Before, like COVID-19, it was a big deal in the world. Then it was spreading from one place to another. The doctors and all the scientists were behind it to find what is the condition and how it came. Like that, they trace how it spread from one place to another or one person to another, and they make the profile of HIV. Before it was like COVID-19. Okay, so what is HIV? HIV is denoted as, HIV's full form is human immunodeficiency virus, and it is a virus that attacks the cell that help the body fight infection. We have just now we came to know how the T cells or B cells of the macrophages act against a virus or any microorganism when they enter into the body. Okay, so that cell is affected by HIV. So there is no cure, but it is treatable with medicine. In this case, the immunity is getting low. In COVID-19 also it is telling that the immunity system is getting weak, or those who have low immunity, they are getting affected severity symptoms by COVID-19. The same is happening in the HIV. Okay, so I have read that in some countries they are giving a medicine combination of this HIV and all. I don't know how much it is reliable news or anything. Okay, but this is the thing. The immunity is getting affected by HIV virus. The HIV is a retrovirus. It is a group of retrovirus. You have heard about COVID-19 is a coronavirus. Corona is a group. Okay, like that HIV is a retrovirus. Retroviruses actually they have a RNA as the genetic material, and outside the host it is just like a thread of genetic material, but inside a human being or any organism, what happens? It makes its own protein coat and its own proteins which will produce, but it hijack the genetic metabolism from the host. That we will study in the later part. Okay, so what is the main structure of the virus? It has a glycoprotein and lipid membrane, then RNA, that is a single stranded nucleic acid, and reverse transcriptase enzyme, that is important. Okay, and protease enzyme also present, and after that there is a capsid. So it is a very protective covering outside the genetic material, so it cannot be easily affected by any medicines. So how the infection of HIV on T lymphocytes happen and how the person become a AIDS patient. Okay, that is we are going to say in detail. So when HIV, that means human immunovirus, attached to the cell surface, the virus core enters cell and goes into the nucleus. Okay, so this virus makes a copy of genetic material within short second. Millions they are making. New virus assembles at the cell surface, and new virus breaks away from the host cell again it infect the other cell. It repeats, okay, and it progressively make a person as a AIDS patient. Okay, so just to be said how the virus enter into a nucleus and how it multiplicate, we just told about. Okay, so in detail we have to know about this one. So actually this T lymphocytes are attacked by the HIVs. What they are doing when the HIV is attacking the T lymphocyte is a WBC, that means it is a part of immune system, okay, and this T lymphocytes are attached with the HIV virus. So what will happen, actually this HIV is one of the minority of virus, but it has a additional external envelope, a membrane of lipids and protein or glycoprotein we saw in the picture, isn't it? So actually this is they borrowed from the last cell which they infected. Virus, I told, it's only a genetic material outside the host. When they get into the host only, they will get their own protective layer. So once they in the bloodstream, specific protein on the outer membrane of the virus forms the virus as active, and now the virus can be say as antigen or a pathogen. Okay, the protein attach the virus to the protein receptor surface of the T lymphocytes. And what will happen? That T lymphocytes are penetrating the core of the cytoplasm, and what will happen the next? This cytoplasm actually affected now, and HIV is a virus. It is a belong to a group known as retrovirus. I told before, retroviruses are RNA viruses with unique infection process. They are showing their own kind of attack and its kind of mode of infection. Now the T lymphocytes attached with the HIV and they enter into the cytoplasm. Okay, so inside the lymphocyte, that means our immune system, the RNA strands and the enzyme called reverse transcriptase. I told RNA with the reverse transcriptase, okay, that are released from the core of the virus. Then what it will do, using that viral RNA as a template, DNA copy is formed by the action of reverse transcriptase. This DNA enters the nucleus of the lymphocyte and attaches itself to a chromosome. It becomes a permanent part of the host cell's genome and it is known as provirus. Okay, after an initial mild form of AIDS like flu, all the time flu, and they are getting decreasing in the weight, all that happen, a provirus remains dormant and in this period, and this period is known as latency period or incubation period. Okay, now you got a clear idea. The first thing, the T cells are attached by the HIV virus, then HIV virus is getting a protein coat and all, and that transcriptase enzyme inside the RNA virus acting on the DNA of the real lymphocyte, and they hijack the process of the DNA, because the DNA is determining the protein which we need in our body, but instead of our RNA primase or RNA transcriptase enzyme, whose RNA come? Virus and RNAs come. So what happened? DNA thought it's ours. DNA started to make their protein, but whose protein they are making? Viruses proteins are making. That protein is not compatible with our body. So what happened? It poisons our body. So the virus affected and they gave the poisons inside our body, and our body reacting as a person with disease. So the unhealthy immune system cannot effectively resist the virus. Okay, now we can say the patient has become immunocompromised. Understand? So our body is now weak in immunity, because why? These HIVs are affected our immune system T lymphocytes, and they hijack the DNA system of our nucleus or WBC nucleus, and they started to make virus replicas and their proteins, and their metabolism started to develop instead of our metabolism. So we are immunocompromised, or the person is in a incubation period. After a certain period, what will happen, that we can see now. So the prevention and control of HIV or AIDS are progressively happening in this world. Okay, actually there is no medicine or no drugs to find the patients to be completely cured, because the immunity system is affecting, isn't it? So there are many scientists and pharmacists who are working on this in this regard to find the vaccination, but still we couldn't find. But you know one thing, 1400 years before, Prophet ﷺ told that the boys should do the circumcision, but many others maybe laughed at Muslims that the boys are doing the circumcision for what. But nowadays it found that this the mucous membrane of the inner surface of the foreskin has a cell with receptor that HIV can exploit. So circumcised male were 7 times less likely to transmit to receive HIV from their partner. Okay, so recent studies have shown that incidence of AIDS is significantly higher in uncircumcised males. So it doesn't indicate that the Muslim boys have encouraged to participate in unsafe sex. No, never. Okay, it is a precaution inside the human beings. With numerous partners, it should not be do the bad things. It would defeat the object. So circumcision is a very good control method. But the first and important thing is that they have to use the sterile needles and the safe partnership with only one. Okay, and should not go for the illegal relationship like that. Now in this picture it is very clear how the HIV transmit. Unprotected sex relationship with many partners, no, it should be only with one safe partner. Okay, and pregnancy and childbirth, breastfeeding, all will affect from the affected woman to the child. And injecting drugs with the same needle, many times it uses the same needle. The person who is having AIDS use the same syringe to the other person, it may cause. And working in healthcare and blood transfusion, organ or tissue transplant, all may cause the HIV pass from one person to another. From this profile you have to know about the pathogen and the state, the type and its name. Okay, single stranded retrovirus is the type, and human immunodeficiency virus is the causative organ. The name you should know, and how it is transmitted, and what are the signs and symptoms and diagnosis, and prevention and control you have to know. So from this you have to know the 4 things: pathogen, taxonomy, transmission, signs and symptoms and diagnosis, prevention and control. You have to know about it. Okay, Alhamdulillah, successfully we have learned about the AIDS and its causative organ, and what are the different types of disease, and how they are transmitting like that. Okay, and different terminology: pandemic, endemic, epidemic, disease, and what is the causative organ of the AIDS, and how it transmitted, how it can be prevented, or what are the control measures. Okay, so I have given some questions here. You have to find the answers from our lessons and write in your notebook, please. Okay, don't skip that step. Whatever you see, it may be feel like a movie watching, but after that what you have to do, you have to write the answers in your book. Okay, thank you for listening. Hope all of you understood the concept. Okay, so this question you should answer in your notebook and study well. Keep on watching the video. It may help you to clear your doubts. Okay, I send the homework sheets regularly in a week. Keep updated. Have a nice day. See you next time. Once more thank you. Now we can see in the part 2 of infectious disease. Inshallah. See you. Masalama.